Hello, everyone. What can I say? We've been talking, there's been reports on the news about the economy and about the budget. So I thought I'd give my 2 cents towards what's been going on and what's been happening. Now, I'm not going to so much comment on the economy and all that when I have no expertise in being an economist or anything along those lines. I will, however, give my 2 cents on a couple of key issues and key points. I find a couple things, well, at least one thing, very ironic at the moment. Only a couple months ago, it was Gina Reinhardt, is that her name? Yes. Gina Reinhardt came out and basically told Abbott that he should cut funding to pensioners indefinitely. Now, obviously, that's called borderline fucking stupid, but then again, it's Gina Reinhardt. She's had a silver spoon in her mouth most of her damn life. So, no real shock there. And what do you know? Let's say a couple months later, Tony Abbott comes out with cutting funding to the pensioners. An election, and when this is coming off the fact that one of his election promises there will be no cut to funding to pensioners. Flip flop, flip flop. You're just like John Howard and Julia Gillard before you. Then again, thinking about it, Tony Abbott is, well, he was the apprentice to John Howard in some respects. So am I really shocked? No, not at all. And I think that's just the worst thing. I'm just not shocked. So when it comes to the whole pensioners type thing, one, I will say, Abbott, don't take your advice from Gina Reinhardt. I don't care if she's your friend, a financial backer, maybe you've done backdoor dealings or whatever, and you owe her one or some bullshit. You know, there's corruption in all politics. Let's be honest here. Come on, people. But don't take your political advice from Gina fucking Reinhardt. Oh, and if you're actually going to do this, you're going to cut the pensioners' funding. Okay. I don't agree with it. I think it's wrong. But if that's the way it is, that's the way it is. I will say this, though. If you're going to do this, you should also do two other things. You should cut benefits from former prime ministers and any former political members that now get these entitlements after they leave office. These entitlements, which can rank up to around about nearly $1 million a fucking year in travel expenses. These former politicians, I think it mainly goes for former prime ministers, but I think former politicians are also on this list of benefits, to have these benefits of free flights, which costs, I think there was a thing that cost around about $1.3 million of taxpayer money a year. Now, of course, that's small, but if you're going to take the money from the pensioners and say you want Australia, we've all got to pitch in and cut back, and it's all about fairness. Well, why not take that away from these former prime ministers and former politicians? Makes sense to me. Also, while we're on that issue, a while ago, when, again, this is not really you guys, it was the Labor Party, and yes, I agree, the Labor Party spent, but that's what they do. They spend money to get approval of the people. That's obvious to me, anyway. But with that said in mind, this was part of the Labor thing when they brought in the carbon tax. Now, what happened was the carbon tax was brought in, and then all of a sudden, all politicians, mainly I think in the higher echelon of the actual political working, whatever it is, got a pay raise. Well, seeing that you're trying to get rid of it, why don't you take yourself a pay cut as well? Hell, you don't even really need to get rid of the carbon tax. Just give yourself a pay cut either way. And another thing, don't get rid of the mining tax. Here is a very good reason why. Yes, these mining companies pay taxes that go towards government. Also, they should pay an excess tax. It makes sense. They're mining Australia and taking the resources from this country and making a profit off of it. So why not have a tax? If they're going to make a profit off of it, why don't you make a profit off of them for them using the resources that Australia actually has? It just makes sense. Do you not see that? Now, what we'll do is go right back to the whole give yourself a pay cut. And you want to know why? You're basically saying that these pensioners are going to take a pay cut. Well, I think you should also take a pay cut. I've suggested this once before, and I'll suggest it again. Here's the reason why. It's about not only talking the talk, but about walking the walk. You want to be the leader of your country. You want to be the Prime Minister, the leader of Australia. Like I just said, you can't just talk the talk. You've got to walk the walk and lead by fucking example. Now, of course, I do completely disagree with the concept that you're bringing in, that you're cutting pensioners' money. Them busting their ass looking for work. Them busting their ass over in the freaking schools trying to get an education towards a career, towards a goal. And I don't like the fact that you're cutting funding to pensioners who are on a disability, if that's how far you actually are going, as well as cutting funding to people who are the actual carers of the people that are on a disability pension. I think that's fucking retarded, but again, if you're going to do this cut, I think for the fairness, and you're seemingly about the fairness, or you keep on spouting that you're about the fairness, why don't you also cut your own funding, or cut your own money back? That way you could at least say that you're a leader and you're trying to lead by example. And if you don't, you're just proving that you're a fucking coward. And you're just the biggest douche monkey that has ever stepped foot in the office. That includes John Howard. That includes Peter Costello. The biggest douche monkey that Australia's ever had elected as the Australian Prime Minister. But I think I've repeated myself enough here now. But I do think you should take a cut. I think former politicians and current politicians should take a pay cut. You're expecting pensioners to take a pay cut. So why can't you guys take a pay cut as well? And actually lead by fucking example. Kuipers out.